Hey, Grande Live, I'm Brent Clapp, and this is Clay Winton, and you're here today with us on Grande Live Gun Talk. I want to mention our sponsors, Grand Hospital, Anything to Digital, and Northwest Furniture and Mattress. Clay, thanks a lot for joining us.
No problem, Brent.
And we've had you on our show before, and tell us I know you're starting a business, you've started one, you've launched over in the Baker City area. Kind of give us an update on what's going on.
All right, so all our paperwork's finally done. That's half the battle, and our first ARs are starting to roll off the line.
Paperwork with who?
The ATF and the city and the normal paperwork associated with trying to start a company this
Cool.
size.
Yeah.
So the first ARs are starting to come off the line. We'll open the retail store here in about really another 2 weeks or so and have them available to the public there.
Cool. And now where is it located?
So we're at 2300 Windmill Road, which is right above the Chevron next to the freeway there in Baker City.
Okay. And so what does this involve? What has it taken to get to this point?
Oh, that's a long, convoluted question. So for doing what we do now, we have about 15 people working for me, and we have CNC machines running most of the time, totally automated milling machines, and then we have people doing assembly. We also have an online component, so we're doing online retail also, and then trying to get the retail store open also has been a whole nother can of worms with this. So it's a broad deal at this point.
Okay, so before you get started here with the gun, give me demonstrate to us that it's clear and the chamber's clear. So just we don't have anybody out there worried like, oh, I wonder if they cleared the chamber. So what are you milling on this gun here? What have you put together? Tell us about this gun.
So on this gun, this is receiver number 1 off the line. And so we made this little receiver. When it comes to us, it's an AR-shaped block of aluminum. It's called a forging. I can bring one in at a later date for that to show you guys. So when we start out, none of the holes are in, none of the internal pockets in. This is solid. It's a block of aluminum. So, and then we get it to this point. In the near future, we'll be making the upper receivers in-house as well. We're probably about a week or so out on those. We're waiting on our next batch of forgings to come in for that.
So what do you gain in doing this yourself?
Well, we can do it, in our opinion, better than just about anybody else. So it ends up with a tighter fit in between the upper and lower receiver. We know that everything is exactly in spec because we check everything. And every gun's put together in our shop. Just our level of control over it is perfect, so we know exactly how every component's going to react.
And so give me an example of something with your design without revealing anything that you don't want to. Yeah, give me an example of something that makes your design better.
Well, just paying attention to tolerances, that's half the battle. It's a proven platform, we didn't alter it in any great way, but making sure your fit between your upper and lower receivers actually correct and not loose, sloppy, etc. That's where the real difference starts to shine through. And that transmits through as you go to fire the gun, the upper receiver's not moving independently of everything else and wiggling. But you run into that a lot of your cheaper, lower end guns with that. In addition, we're using a higher quality barrel and a different contour barrel. It's thicker back where it needs to be. It's called an H-bar. So back in this area, you run up to almost 80,000 PSI of pressure when that gun's going off. By the time you hit the gas port and forward, you're at the lower part of your pressure curve, and you're dropping down to 20,000 PSI. So the barrel doesn't need to be as thicker there. So we're getting the same performance of a heavy bull barrel with half the weight.
Oh, cool.
So in addition, they're fluted. It disperses heat better. Also adds a little bit of cool factor, in my opinion. So all around, just a little better performing firearm. We guarantee them to shoot under 1 MOA. We're one of the few companies in the industry that does that. So
explain that a little bit.
So less than 1 inch at 100 yards.
Okay.
So every one of our guns is guaranteed to shoot less than 1 inch at 100 yards with factory match ammunition. So that's pretty darn good accuracy.
Yeah, that is great. So now I mean I have lots of rifles, but they're all hunting rifles, and I've grown up around hunting rifles and handguns. I don't own an AR-15. Tell me why this is fun. Why is having an AR-15 fun?
Well, less recoil. So if I was going to go take one of these out to hunting, which I do have ARs chambered in calibers that are designed to hunt with, you have probably 1/3 of the recoil you do of having a bolt action rifle. The weight's almost the same. You also get a faster follow-up shot off it. Your recoil's mitigated so much it's mind-boggling. So you're actually watching the bullet impact in the middle of the scope instead of trying to regroup, reload, etc. Right. So if you do have a problem on the first shot, you're a lot more ethical on your follow-up shot.
Does it have as much? So talk to me about punch. How much? Yeah, so that would be an issue that somebody would ask. Does it have as much punch?
Well, that's a convoluted question, because as what? As another 223, yes, it would be identical as another 223. As a 30-06, no. If we step up to a different caliber in the AR itself, like 6.8 SPC, that's pretty much a dead ringer for like a 6mm Remington, your classic deer gun.
Okay.
We can get close to that. In an AR-15 platform, to go above that doesn't really happen much. We can do some fun stuff with big, slow brush busting rounds, but as far as competing with an .06, no way. Okay. So for large game, bigger than deer, they're not an option. In 223, they're not an option for any large game, in my opinion. I know some people would disagree with me, but I don't think it's ethical to shoot a deer with a 223. Coyotes, it's an absolutely perfect cartridge for that.
Okay. And that's kind of funny because, and you and I have talked about this before, people get all freaked out about AR-15, and they don't realize that the 30-06 that they have sitting in their closet is how many more times powerful?
Oh, at least double. I mean, because in an AR-15, you're dealing with a 55-grain bullet doing about 2,400 feet per second. In a 30-06, you're dealing with a 160-grain bullet going about at the same speed. You're in 26 to 2,800 feet per second. So, I mean, you're pushing literally 3 times the mass at the same speed. It's a whole nother animal.
Right. And it's one of the reasons that police departments have these armored vehicles that they're acquiring, is because they need a vehicle. A 30-06 will punch right through a police car door or something like that.
Oh, absolutely. The armor they wear, they don't let them wear all that heavy of armor. Anything bigger than a pistol will go through any type of armor they let them wear. You have to go over to rifle plates to stop anything rifle related, and they won't stop anything above a .06.
Right.
They don't make a rifle plate that'll stop anything over a .06 because it'll still crunch you. There's too much energy involved there. So
so then people, even in our area, say like, what do they need a big, heavy, armored vehicle like that? And it's kind of funny because in an area like ours, there's a lot more 30-06s in closets than there would be in Portland or something like that.
Absolutely. So, or like a 300 Win Mag, another extremely common elk round around here, and they don't make an armor that'll stop it. They can't.
Yeah.
So it's a whole nother ballgame.
Interesting.
So
let's go back to the AR-15. So what else is fun about it? You talked to me about before about a kid with an erector set and how fun it is. Yeah, so talk to me about that.
Well, yes, so every component of these guns is infinitely changeable. There's a million companies out there, including us, who make every single, you can change out the handguard, your upper receivers, your calibers for that matter, muzzle devices, gas blocks, stocks, grips. Your options are infinite. And then when you get into all different styles, then you go into everything's available in all different colors. So I mean, I can order this handguard in Tiffany blue, pink, purple, gray, red. We'll bring some of the red handguards in next time. They're kind of a neat one. So your options are infinite of how you want to change and customize the rifle to your own liking. And you can do it at home. Headspace comes preset on these. It's almost impossible to blow yourself up working on one. They don't have the restriction, like a bolt-action rifle, like your old .06. You have to have a gunsmith set headspace in that if you were ever going to think about changing a barrel. Well, they're preset on these. You would have to do some major damage to change that in any measurable way on an AR-15. So it's perfectly fine for somebody at home to start dinking around on the things because they're fairly idiot-proof, to be honest. It's hard to get yourself in trouble with one.
Cool. Well, very cool. And then how is this one equipped specifically?
This is our stage 2, so it has that same H-bar barrel and ultralight handguard on it, a slightly upgraded grip, and then we went with a fixed stock on this one. So it's just one piece that's a little lighter that way, and it brought the balance of the gun out just perfect. So it's nothing too exciting, but just a good, solid performing rifle.
Okay. So what's next at your office? With your company? What's the next goal for you?
To get a few thousand of these out running around on the market.
Okay.
Is the next goal. Is hitting our first 1,000 will be a big number.
Okay.
Getting our first 1,000 out on the market, actually having guns available to the public will be another big goal. And then once we get the AR game dialed in, we'll start moving more into the suppressor side.
Okay. And then, so give me an idea of cost involved in if somebody is interested in getting into this.
So this rifle without the optics on it is going to retail right at $1,250.
Okay.
So it's the lower end of the AR market. It's not the bottom, but it's nowhere near the top.
Okay.
So just a nice, reasonable price for a top performing rifle.
And so if you wanted to start with a lesser model that you could build up to? What would be the minimum threshold that somebody could get into?
For ours, it would still have our barrel on it, but it would come with a different handguard on it. It would be right around the 950 mark.
Okay, cool. Well, great. Well, this is exciting, and sometime we'll have you back and we'll talk about, it'd be fun to take this apart and see some of the different parts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then comparison of I talked about do a comparison of ammunition.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, an AR bullet is what? A shell, and it's what, about that long?
That hair longer, but yeah.
Yeah,
right
and then
they're
compared to a 30-06, which is significantly bigger. And again, that speaks to the fear factor that
Absolutely.
that goes on.
Well, and I can bring the rifles in, and also I can bring in the fact I have bolt guns chambered. It's the exact same thing.
Interesting.
Everyone thinks it's some big scary round, and it's just your standard old bolt gun that's in the closet.
Yeah.
The only difference is this one has a semi-auto, and it looks different, and it has so much hype around it.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me in again,
Clay.
Brent.
Yeah, I
Look
really
forward
appreciate
to the next
it.
time.
Yeah. And thanks again to our sponsors, Grande Hospital, Northwest Furniture and Mattress, and Anything to Digital. Have a good day, and we'll see you next time.